2% of children in Gaza have been killed or injured in the first 6 months of the war. And approximately 14,000 children have been killed. Children, especially young children, are particularly vulnerable to the effects of extreme climate change. Half, over 1 billion, are at risk due to extreme weather events. 2/3 of girls and 73% of boys experience physical violence, and so on, and so on. But we all know children are vulnerable. But they are also incredibly powerful. We overlook this at our peril. Children and youth are taking action in their communities to solve local, national, and global problems. They're at the forefront of movements for change, for climate, peace, and justice. They can exercise incredible power if we let them. It is not our work to save the children. It is our work to save the world with and for children. The people in this room have enormous power to change the world, but philanthropy itself has to change. Philanthropy does have a unique role, not just moving money, but taking risks, testing, learning, and sharing new approaches, identifying and filling gaps that governments and other stakeholders won't fill or can't fill. Supporting advocacy to demand that governments and other stakeholders fulfill those obligations, and raising up the voices of those who are rarely heard. We're here today because we believe that together we are better than the sum of our parts. Together we can challenge systems. We can unpack and shift the mental models that are holding us and our communities back. We can join forces and collaborate for impact. Together we can get out of silos and see the child as part of a family, a community. Together we can take a rights-based intersectional approach. For the next 3 days, we have incredible opportunities to develop new ways of thinking, being, working, and collaborating. But that requires all of us to be open, vulnerable, honest, and brave. So I challenge you all to open your minds, your ears, and your hearts to the ideas that you'll hear, the opportunities before us, and our collective hope for a better world in which all children can thrive and exercise their rights. So let's get started. I am delighted to introduce 2 members of our AGM Member Planning Committee to kick us off, and I hope that they are here because I haven't seen them. Rodri, come on up. Rodrigo Barraza is the Regional Co-Director of the Americas for GIC. Dora Luisi is Program Consultant for the Fund for Global Human Rights. Thank you both.
Thank you, Heather, and good morning, everyone. My name is Rodrigo Barraza. I work at the Global Fund for Children, and English is not my first name, so I'll do my best. I have it right here. But on behalf of the Elevated Children Founders Group at the Committee, I'm delighted to welcome you to this beautiful city, to this beautiful country, for this 2024 AGM event. And as you know, the name of this event, of this conference, is Better Together, Bridging Funders, Young People, and Community for Collective Impact. And we spent quite some time thinking about the name of this event, and we didn't take that for granted. We really want to embrace the spirit of the name and create a space when we can all center justice, diversity, and inclusion. And as you know, Elevate Children Founders Group is the only global network focused exclusively in advancing the rights and promoting the well-being of children and youth across the globe. We focus on the most marginalized and vulnerable to abuse, neglect, exploitation, and violence. But at the same time, we refuse to see them as mere victims of their circumstances,
we are always trying to center their voices, their needs, their proposals in all the things that we do. And we support these children and youth, these diverse children and youth, by building a true community of funders and creating spaces for greater learning and effectiveness in how we use our individual resources. That's important, how can be very impactful with the resources that we have. Also to foster more collaboration and alignment across our philanthropic strategies. We're always trying to promote collaboration between civil society organizations, between other stakeholders, and we, as donors, as funders, we are ready to make that commitment as well. And also to promote collective actions for more and better funding and support for a wider field. As you know also, every year and a half or so, members of the Elevate Children's Funders Group get together just to celebrate the fact that we are here, that we are willing to learn from each other and just to support this mission of supporting children and youth. But this year in particular, we're trying to do things differently. For example, and just so you know, this is the first meeting that it's happening outside North America and Europe, where most of our partners are based. We've been working hard for the last several years to shift our practices, to be critical of our practices as a network, and to welcome new members based in the Global South. And we are excited that we are right now in the hometown of one of our newest members, the Kenya Community Development Foundation. We have made a deliberate decision to situate the meeting here in Kenya to be closer to the Global South and the communities that we serve. And another big change that we're going to see this year is that in the past, our in-person AGMs have been focused on bringing funders together just to collaborate and to learn collectively. But this year, during this meeting, it's very important, and I'm super excited to say that funders represent only a third of the participants here, and that non-funders, civil society organizations and young leaders, each one make the other third. We know that shifting practice means getting out of our bubbles, getting closer to the communities we serve, getting closer with the action is happening. And we are delighted to see such a diverse and energized crowd here. And before I say goodbye and I say welcome, bienvenidos, thank you for being here, I just have 3 big favors to ask you. The first one is please enjoy this space, enjoy the fact that we're together, claim your right to play, to have fun, because playing is transformational, playing is political. When we play, we claim our right to see the world with a different pair of eyes. So please have fun. The second favor that I have to ask you is please be present, be here. It's so hard to just disconnect with everything that is happening for our daily work, for our emails, for all of that. But if we can be here with all of our hearts, our emotions, our thoughts, we are going to witness the power of this space. So be here, be present, be in the moment. We are here, and please don't take that for granted. And the last piece of advice, the last favor that I want to ask you all is please be kind. Let's create this safe space together. Let's create this space just to, like Heather was mentioning, just to create hope, to see hope in action, to see collective power in action. And let's exercise that sense of wonder and let's imagine new worlds together. So thank you for being here. I hope that you can enjoy this space and welcome. Bienvenidos.
Hi everyone. Good morning. My name is Dora Mhanuzi. I work with the Fund for Global Human Rights, and I'm here on behalf of the Planning Committee. So my colleague has been talking about all these shifts that have been made since our last AGM. And this begs the question, why? Why was it necessary to have these shifts at this time? And the answer I can answer this in just one sentence. These shifts were necessary because we needed to support our core purpose for this AGM, which is to explore and capitalize on the synchronicities that make us greater than the sum of our parts, with each other, with young people, and with the local cultures and communities within which we serve. To develop our agenda for this AGM, we were guided by three key themes. The first one is working to center the whole child across the silos. And in this, we mean that in a world where children and families that exist outside the silos of development must navigate a myriad of challenges, our approaches must go beyond these traditional silos. We must explore what working through the lens of a holistic life approach looks like, and how we as funders and civil society organizations can most work together effectively to make this possible. Our second theme was connecting to places and communities that are most affected. We understand that community leadership is effective, and that the most powerful and enduring change is led by those that are most impacted by these issues. So our goal for this AGM is to highlight successful approaches, programs, and initiatives across the East African region. We have designed this conference to be deeply grounded in the local context, as my colleagues have mentioned, focusing on critical questions such as, how do we collaborate with the most affected and ensure their leadership? And what are the realities of our issue focus areas in the East African region? And finally, what can we learn from lived experiences and local philanthropies? Our third theme is shifting philanthropy with and for young people. As we are aware, children and youth leaders are at the forefront of movement and community organizing worldwide. They are leading the change in championing human rights, climate, social justice, and development. But despite this critical role, they are systematically excluded from funding by large donors and receive minimal direct support for their community-based work. So for our time here, we will together explore how to ensure that philanthropy recognizes and supports the central role that young people play in achieving its goals. Our friends, the planning committee and the secretariat understood that bringing a diverse group of people to discuss challenging questions would require centering justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion to create a space of safety, belonging, and equal collaboration. This is why I am excited to introduce Naisola Alikimani, a feminist, activist, and former funder who has been instrumental in supporting us in these critical areas. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doris. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, this is a big room, so let's bring all our energy into this space. I'm so happy to be here with you all today. I hope your day started off well. You all had good breakfast, good rest. For those of you who traveled from afar, I hope your jet lag is not so bad. And for the Nairobians, I hope the traffic was kind. It probably took you as long to get here. But I really just would like to add my voice just to say welcome and really looking forward to a great week ahead with all of you. As we've heard, this is a very unique space. This is a funders meeting, yes, but it is more than that. It is a community gathering. We do have a wonderful cross-section of all the diverse actors that are driving change for the most vulnerable children and young people here in the room. And so before we do anything else, let's take a minute to know who is in the room with us. And so I'd invite you to find somebody that you have never met, that you don't know, at your table or the table next to you. and introduce yourself and ask them one of the questions that you see on the screen. Let's really get to know who we're spending the week with. Okay, so we'll just take a few minutes. Please find somebody, pair up, introduce yourself, ask them a question, switch sides, and then we'll come back together. Okay. I hope you've both had an opportunity to answer one of the questions. Okay, let's take our seats. Let's please take our seats. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so curious to hear what famous people are admired in this room. Thank you so much. Yeah, let's please take our seats. We will definitely have more opportunities to connect meaningfully with each other over the coming days. Feel free to continue asking each other these questions, and let's dig deeper with one another. So for those of you who were able to attend the pre-AGM webinars that we held a couple of weeks ago, you'll recall that we shared some guiding principles on creating a safe, brave, and inclusive space together. We talked about, we can go to the next slide, thank you. We talked about valuing and celebrating our diversity, not just the representation that we have here, but the diverse perspectives that we all bring to the table. Everyone's voice is truly important in this space, and everyone's voice is necessary for the conversations that we'll be having. We also want to be very open, right? That there are power differences present, and we all need to be mindful how we exercise the various forms of power and privilege that we come with into this space. For more of this, we do have at the back of the room an interactive wheel of power and privilege. Some of you may have seen this. This wheel of power and privilege looks at how power and privilege intersect and occur in an intersectional way, and invites us to interrogate how this might manifest in our work and in the way that we interact with each other. So I hope you'll find opportunities at the break to walk over there or go over there and take a look. And we also encourage you to think about what other elements could be missing, because this is quite contextualized, I believe, to North America, but there's a lot more context-specific power dynamics that we can think about for the Global South. ECFG has also been very, very intentional that this be an accessible meeting in every way. So you'll notice in the program, almost the entire program is open to everyone. I think there's literally maybe one or two sessions that are just for ECFG members. So please engage. This is the spirit of this space, physically accessible, but also the conversations are and discussions are for us all. And of course, there will be the conversations around shifting power and decolonizing philanthropy. You'll see this is a thread that will run through many of the sessions, and it provides an opportunity for us to really reflect, to question, and to innovate around these conversations that are happening in our sector. So in a diverse shared space like this, it is helpful for us to generate some common agreements, some meeting norms, just in terms of how we want to ensure that this is that safe and inclusive space over the next few days. Some people call them ground rules. I prefer agreements because we're just in agreement on how we want to generate a space together that everybody will feel that they belong, that they can participate fully. So we're going to use technology for this, and I hope the technology gods are going to smile on us. So what we're going to do is at every table, please come up with one agreement amongst yourselves. Just one agreement, and then nominate one person at the table to go into the Hoover app. Remember, we all got an orientation on Hoover? I hope we're all becoming pros, or at least find the pro at the table. And that person can then put in your answer on the home page under polls. You will see the question there at the bottom. So discuss for a few minutes, come up with one agreement on how we want to have, on what we will do to make sure this is a safe and inclusive space. Then one person, just take a few moments to enter that agreement into Hoover. On the home page, if you scroll down where it says polls, and you scroll to the end of that, you'll see where you'll enter your answer. I hope that's clear. Is that clear? Okay, we're nervous about the tech, yeah? It'll work out. Okay, let's take a couple of minutes to discuss and enter the agreements, and we'll see what we all have. Okay. I think there's questions. Okay, let me repeat the instructions one more time. So first of all, just discuss amongst yourselves what is one agreement you would like to propose to create a safe and inclusive and brave space for us all. What is one agreement you would like us all to uphold over the next few days? Once you agree amongst yourselves, please have one person at your table enter your agreement into Hoover, because we will see everybody's. Sound good?